Hi everyone, my name is Rita Alfaro and I'm the music librarian for Fort Worth Public Library. And today I'm having a quick Q&A with one of our Amplify 817 curators, Najeeb Sabour. Hi Najeeb.
How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing excellent.
If you want to play a little bit on your cello and then give a quick introduction of who you are and what you're doing and how you came to be a curator with us, that would be super awesome. So I will give the floor to you now.
Okay. This song is called Taste of Life. And before I explain any more about it, I'll just play it and let you listen to it yourself. Taste of life seems too much to take, and it's all because taste of life seems too much to take, and it's all because taste of life seems too much to take. Everybody wants to make it in this loving bad world. Everybody wants to make it in this all big world. Everybody wants to make it in this all big bad world. Everybody wants to make it in this all big bad world. Woo!
That was beautiful. Thank you so much for that. I love that. So that's going to be a good segue into our next question. What is your experience or your background with music?
Yeah, originally from New Orleans. I had parents that were teachers in the school district, and I grew up kind of with learning disabilities, I could say. I had ADD and I had dyslexia. And kind of in the 80s, around that time when we didn't really know what those things were, and help and resources weren't really available, especially to people in certain kind of lower income communities. And so music was a big thing of figuring out how to focus, figuring out how to use an outlet to fuel my energy into that I had as this kid. I was kind of a little all over the place and not quite sure where to kind of settle my energy. So luckily, my family moved from New Orleans to Texas, and in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, they had string instruments in the music in school. And I saw this kid play cello, and I thought he was so cool. And I was like, I want to be like that kid. And one thing led to another. I ended up picking up the cello and kind of making my own voice with it. And went to Arts Magnet in downtown Dallas, and went to Boston Conservatory for classical, went to Berkeley for jazz, blues, hip hop, and improv. And slowly but surely, I kind of started making a voice for myself, because I knew at some point that playing classical music wasn't really allowing me to be heard. And, you know, I felt like I had this flavor to contribute. And, you know, it was interesting. The history of classical music, it's a very, it's an instrument from Europe, and it steeped in a culture that isn't exactly my own. So in order for me to kind of find a piece with it, I had to figure out ways to kind of make it my own and put my own flavor in it, or else I was going to give up. And there were many times where I stopped playing the cello because I just, you know, I was like, is this it? Is the goal to be in an orchestra? I'm just not feeling it. And, you know, after a while, it kept calling me back, kind of, play me, kind of in a haunting, like, you know you want to play, you know you want to play. And, you know, slowly but surely, like I say, when you learn anything new, you have to give yourself some time and some patience and some love and some compassion. And so there was a lot of mental work that I had to go through in order to create a space so that I can kind of explore. And I guess I'm still in that exploration right now, and you know, still learning new things and trying to figure out how to express myself, especially during these times that we're living in right now. You know, sure, music is fun for entertainment, but is there something I can do with it that can help not only other people, but myself, you know, number one. Can I find something to do that allows me to live a purposeful life while helping other people achieve an energy, a goal, a belief, perhaps a moment of inspiration that can push them to do their own purpose. You know, I'm learning through this process. It's not just about entertaining. It's not just about having fun, because it, you know, it takes a lot of hard work to, you know, put your intentions in line in order to come up with something that actually makes an impact more than just playing music. So I'm kind of in that point where I'm trying to figure out the bigger picture, I guess, with everything. And I think because of the climate of the world right now, it's kind of propelling us all to kind of figure out, okay, what am I doing right now? And is this worth spending the rest of my energy and my life doing when so many people are going through hard times around us, you know?
And I think because of the skills that you have and where you came from and how you're using your music, I think it's definitely a gift. Music is a gift, whether you're doing it in a performance aspect of it or you're just the casual listener. I think everybody finds a way to benefit from music. And so, and it definitely leads you down different paths. I was similar in that sense that, you know, I went to the school and they had instruments and I was really excited to get into music that way. And I became a music teacher, and I just decided that that wasn't necessarily the world for me. I'd never thought that music would lead me into librarianship, but I'm really glad it did. And I'm really glad I'm still able to do it in this capacity and in some form. And it looks like you've sort of discovered that as well.
Yeah, we're discovering it together, as I said, you know. I've been learning life has many seasons. They continue to change and evolve who we are, and we have to make sure that we are honoring that change and allowing ourselves to do things that we never thought we would do before.
Exactly. It's definitely evolving right now as we speak, and it's people getting out of their comfort zones and what we're used to, even in the sense of live performances or the way that we write or collaborate. We're just finding new avenues for that, and we kind of have to, especially if we want to keep the arts alive and we want to continue doing this sort of thing. I think we definitely need to adjust. And that's what we're doing now.
Yes. Adjust, create, propel, You know, it's, I didn't think that, you know, I thought I would pick an instrument and this would be it. And this is the career path of that. And right now that's all being shaken up. And, you know, my parents were teachers. I never thought that I would be a teacher at all in my life. And somehow I was a teacher for a couple seasons of my life. And now, as I was settling into doing that, I am propelled to be a musician again and a performer. And so, but what I'm learning is you take those same skills with you, no matter where you go, and they just kind of add on each other, and they create a larger perspective, and you're able to reach more and more people, hopefully.
Yeah.
And, you know, I guess that's the beauty of wisdom. I'm 38 right now. And I'm kind of in that cusp where I'm like, all right, okay, I can kind of look back and say, what have I learned and where do I want to go in the future from things that I've acquired along my life, and what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses, and how do I fit in the big picture of this kind of moving world. So, but I'm so happy to hear you were a music teacher.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for music teachers, oh my God, you have a special place in my heart. That's for sure.
So what sparked your interest in music?
What sparked my interest in music? I think that I was always a very emotional child, and I felt things on an emotional level first. And so, you know, I remember being a little kid, and some of the earliest memories were just a sound. And I remember myself just stopping to listen, much like we see with little kids. And I love playing cello for kids because it takes their whole essence of energy is now focused on this vibration and this sound, and this energy that's coming, kind of like, what does it mean?
Yeah.
You know? So I think I had a curiosity of like, what does it mean? Where does it come from? You know, why does it make my heart pound? Why does it make me feel happiness and sorrow? I love the way you could tell a story through a song. It's something that I always am pushing myself to try to, how can I explain this song better with the emotions of a story, how it begins and it builds up, the plot, setting the scene, the drama of it all, the resolve, the hope, the despair. It's theater in 2 minutes and 15 seconds, you know? And I think that's what drew me to music. I went through a range of emotions in such a short time. I was transformed. You know, when you hear a song and you don't know what exactly happened, but you know you're different. You feel different. Your perspective is different.
It fills those gaps.
Yeah.
That's what I always think. It's like, wow, I didn't realize that I needed that something. I was missing something, and that music is just like filling that gap for me.
Yes. Yeah. And let's say if you experience something, in life, and you know, we're all kind of going through the rat race of working and family and things that we have to do in life, and in order to keep the day going. And then you hear a song that explains what you've been feeling, but you haven't been able to confront it or explain to yourself how you've been feeling. And all of a sudden, you know, it's written out in this song, and we all heal. And, you know, the earth is vibrating at a different frequency because of that healing. And so, you know, I can talk forever about the magic of music. So I hope that, you know, there's many changes in the music world when we start performing and playing again on both the audience's respect for musicians and as well as the venues, and as well as I hope that musicians are listening to their heart and allowing themselves to play and produce music that really speaks to them, instead of perhaps, you know, doing something for a gig. Or, you know, there's been countless gigs as a cellist that I've done that really didn't sit well with my heart, but I've told myself this is part of my career and I should do this gig and it pays well, and then you look back and I'm like, hey, the last 10 gigs I didn't even want to do. But yet, somehow it turned into a snowball effect. And so I'm really, I'm hoping that we as musicians as well decide to listen to your heart and play what speaks to you. And no matter what, you know, there's going to be somebody who enjoys it. You don't have to play some other covers or some other tunes, or, you know, I'm thinking of, you know, lots of shows I've done with people came up to me and asked me to play this song or that song or a cover song. Recently, I got a playlist and Whitney Houston was in the playlist, and I was like, I was like, do you think to know what I do? Like, I could make we could go for it, but perhaps I'm not the artist for you, and that's okay, you know? But they were really adamant about hiring me. And I'm just like, well, if you want me to arrange and sing a Whitney Houston song on the cello, all I want to say, it's not my forte, but I can offer you something that is, and I can share it with you. And if you like it, I would be more than happy to play it for you and your friends.
Yeah,
you know, this time, I guess, is allowing us all to have deep thoughts about the future and how we're moving on, and how we stand in our own truth. So I'm very much going through a evolving phase right now, and we'll see. I have hope that the music world, we're going to figure this out, and we're going to find ways to continue to work with each other, and we're going to find even newer and better innovative ways to continue to share music in ways that we never have before. So
here's hoping. Yeah. Just hoping for that in the future, and that we can, again, just adapt and learn from this and continue growing as either musicians or listeners or anything, music educators as well, in any form of music that we're just going to keep on. Also helping us with our Amplify 817, being our curator for that. So we're very happy to have you aboard, and thank you for that. How does being in Fort Worth shape your music taste, whether it's in regards to helping us with the collection right now as we are reviewing everything, or even you as a musician? How does it shape you?
Yeah, I love Fort Worth. I have to admit, when I lived in Dallas, I only came here maybe a handful of times, and it took the plunge of actually moving here to really get the gist of what the city is about, because it's all about community and connections. And, you know, I was telling a friend, I was like, it's very rare that I leave my house to even go to the corner store or whatever, and I don't have some sort of connection with someone, you know? That's just the vibe of Fort Worth, and it's really hard to understand that on the outside unless you're here immersed in that culture. And I think that culture allows a lot of creativity to be nurtured, to be supported, to be heard, to be given opportunities in certain ways that no other city that I lived in has been able to do. And you know, I try to explain this vibe and this feeling of Fort Worth to people who have only visited or don't know much or know more about Dallas, and you can tell it goes over their head. It's really hard to understand unless you have been here, unless you have been, unless you've gone to the bars, unless you've restaurant hopped on Magnolia, unless you've been in a coffee shop all day and talked to a plethora of people that you never knew, and now but have given you kind smiles, and you feel at home. It's probably the first time I really felt at home coming back to Texas after traveling for the last 10 years. I traveled with music and lived in Europe for several years in Memphis, Austin, Los Angeles, Mexico, just playing music, and returned back to Texas and found a new home here in Fort Worth, and it's been everything to me. So I'm really glad that I made the move, and I came here not knowing anyone at all, and on the whim of wanting to experience something new, and knowing that perhaps I could find a place in the music community that I had heard so much about. As you know, we know Leon Bridges has brought some recent success to this city, and but there's been amazing musicians here for a very long time, and so I'm happy to be a part of this community right now.
So what would you say is your favorite thing about the Fort Worth music scene or the art scene or anything Fort Worth, really?
Mm-hmm. My favorite thing about the arts and music scene is I feel that because of the alchemy in Fort Worth, there's a lot of new businesses. There's not of new ideas. It's like this boiling pot of creativity, and when you are in that energy, it helps to propel you and inspire you and fuel you. So I think that's my favorite part, just being in an area where there's a lot of energy and love and vibration of support, of technology, of business. I've recently decided that I was going to continue to pursue my career in music, and being here in Fort Worth and seeing so many other artists and entrepreneurs taking this seriously, it's made the world of difference to me. I can actually okay, me and all my friends, we out here doing it right now, we out here, we're believing in ourselves, we're supporting each other, and maybe it's a little Fort Worth bubble of positive energy that doesn't exist in other places, but it's incredible to be in that vortex, and sometimes that's that little bit of support or creativity or compassion is all you need to get to the next level, that can open doors for you as well as the person behind you, who is thinking about doing the same thing you were doing.
Yeah, there's a lot of community vitality here, and I think it's really great because I think other cities, especially bigger ones or ones that have a bigger population, it's a lot of little mini scenes or communities, and that's great. And I think the great thing about Fort Worth is that we have also those little pockets of communities, but everybody's willing to help each other out for the betterment of the city and for themselves, and I just think it's beautiful. I love it. So speaking of community, since again, you are one of our Amplify 817 curators, how do you think Amplify 817 will help musicians and the music scene?
Yes, I think it is a fantastic program. I was so excited to hear anytime that there's a program that helps to empower and musicians to get their music, to get their word, to get their message, their vibe, their expression out. You know, accessibility is a game changer for artists and musicians. You know, I know some talented artists that, you know, struggle with trying to put their art in a platform that allows other people to hear it. And, you know, they don't teach that in music school. You don't learn that in music lessons. It's one of those things you kind of learn from experimentation, word of mouth, you know, like I said, community support. And so there's a disconnect with the education of how to turn a passion into something lucrative. And I think that platforms like Amplify 817 allows musicians to, you know, use the momentum in order to continue their career. And you know, it's interesting how you can be as talented one day and then the next day, because of your positioning or your access, opportunities change.
Right. Especially like right now, no one expected this to happen. No one expected the shutdowns, but we're working through it.
Most definitely. So, and I know you, being an artist, probably might not even know how you are affecting musicians and their careers by running this program, and how it'll help to catapult their careers. So, you know, I thank you humbly for that as well, and for giving me the opportunity to listen and learn from so many amazing bands and artists that submitted to this program for this platform. And every day, every time I listen to artists, it's you know, it's a learning experience for me as well, and as well as a you know, and on one hand, I'm judging on certain levels of composition and production, creativity, and on the other hand, I'm taking in the artistry and different perspectives that these artists use in order to express themselves, and I'm being inspired, you know. So it's a happy place to be a part of this, and to learn from opposite ends of the spectrum. So.
Yeah, I definitely will say it's opened my eyes to a lot of new musicians that are here that I hadn't heard of before, and I thought I was pretty well rounded already in a lot of the local music scene, but it's been amazing hearing some of the people, and I will say it's making our job very hard at this point to narrow it down to just the 25 that we'll be selecting. So, but I think, yeah, there's a lot of really great potential out there.
Yes, and I hope you know, whoever gets elected continues to submit, and you know, doesn't mean it wasn't inspiring, beautiful, enjoyable. It's just, it's a hard decision, and and so I guess we got to do it together.
Yeah, definitely. So that segues really well into our last question. What advice do you have for any aspiring musicians or for any of the Amplify 817 listeners or fans or anybody in Fort Worth in general?
Yes. I would like to say that no matter what, continue to believe in yourself. Listen to your heart. Your intuition will not steer you wrong. And be okay with creating a new path that may not have been laid out before you, even if you have to lightly step to feel for the ground in the darkness. Gravity will always make sure you stay on the ground, and the light will continue to show you the way. Thank you so much, Rita, for this opportunity. And
yeah, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk to us today or to talk to me today. And I'm glad everybody gets to know you guys a little bit better through this series. So thank you again so much.
yes, thank you.